I did an attachment therapy training. That was about 10 years ago. And then I became a craniosacral therapist. And now I really bring in all those different modalities and work with families in that way, and also work with individual adults. Craniosacral therapy is a gentle touch modality. So someone lies on a massage table, fully clothed, and we touch different parts of the body. And why it's called cranio is we're working with the cranium, and sacrum, we're working with the sacrum. So what we're doing is we're working with the nervous system, working with the autonomic nervous system and the central nervous system. So the brain and the spinal cord have what is known as cerebrospinal fluid that bathes your whole central nervous system. The fluid has, they actually have tides that are very similar to the ocean. So they're either moving quite quickly or the tides slow down, and that's what really settles your nervous system. What they've been able to discover about that fluid is that that's where the real health of our body lies, is in that fluid. So no matter what kind of disease or anything that's going on, or disruption that's going on in our system, there's this health that lives beneath it. There's this blueprint of health that's always there. What happens with trauma, for example, is it takes us out of our bodies.
Right.
It's like, it's not comfortable to be in my body. I don't like what's happening here. And so there's a disconnection that can happen. And often it happens in early childhood where things are not safe, and we kind of just disconnect, we dissociate.
Right.
And so part of what I work with a client is to help them come back into their bodies and have a felt sense in their bodies of what is it like to actually feel safe right now. One of the main things that I work with if someone comes in, for example, who's struggling with anxiety. Oftentimes there's a difficulty about being in their body, or there's a disconnection with being in their body. So part of craniosacral therapy, when someone comes and lies on the table, part of me is working with their nervous system, but part of me is working to help them be embodied, help them actually feel sensations in their own body. A lot of clients that come in and I say to them, is there any part of your body that feels safe right now? And they say to me, Bonnie, I don't know what that means to feel safe in my body. And a lot of it comes from how we're parented early on. Again, that early foundation, that first 2 years of life. There's only so much we can do with up here, because what happens to us happens to all of us. You know, it happens to our whole body. Our physiology gets affected. Our nervous system gets affected by what happens to us early on. When I'm working with an adult, I'm really supporting them to come into themselves, to find an authentic relationship with themselves, and that will naturally help them to be able to relate outwards to their partner or to their child or to their coworker, because it's all about relationship. It can be used from anything from migraines to anxiety. I work with people who have anxiety and depression. Birth is very compressive, you know, that baby's cranium has to come through that pelvis, and there's a lot of compression, and the body's meant for that, but the bones can sometimes overlap and then not come back into their original place. And so I always recommend just a wellness visit of craniosacral. Even if you had a home birth and everything went really well, it's always good to have baby checked on. I support families in that first primary period to have the best, most healthiest start that they can in life. We need to have a felt sense in our bodies of what is it like to feel safe in this world? What is it like to feel protected? What does it feel like to feel trust? And do I have that in my family?
When we make all these discoveries, they're really simple.
Yeah.
And it seems like we've moved away from the simplicity of life. And we think that everything needs to be something, you know, more difficult than it needs to be. And life is full of challenges, certainly. But when you hear things like that, it's like, wow. I mean, it sounds so profound, but it's so simple.
It is so simple.